The story of Ashley Reeves, who was nearly killed by someone she thought was a friend, is so horrifying that it's hard to believe it's true, especially since it ended well and she miraculously survived. In this video, we'll try to tell you what really happened. Ashley Reeves lived in the small town of Millstadt in southwestern Illinois with her loving parents and her younger sister, Casey, who adored her. From elementary school, Ashley excelled academically, played on the school basketball team, and was one of the top students in her class. Even after she started dating at 16, she continued to participate in school competitions. Her boyfriend, Jeremy, was a great match for Ashley, polite, smart, and kind. Her parents were thrilled that she had chosen such a wonderful partner. Ashley was also happy and eagerly looking forward to graduation. She had no idea that fate had a test in store for her that was almost unimaginable. On April the 27th, 2006, Ashley returned home from school and told her parents she was going to an interview at a diner in Fairview Heights, about a 25-minute drive from Millstadt. She planned to play basketball at a park in Belleville afterward and return home by 10 p.m. Ashley packed her basketball uniform and sneakers in a bag, got into Jeremy's car, which he often lent her, and left for the interview around 3:30 p.m. Her parents had set a rule that she had to be home by 10:30 p.m., or she would face punishment, such as losing her allowance or being assigned extra chores. But curfew had come and gone, and Ashley still wasn't home. Her mother, Michelle, asked Casey if her sister had called. When Casey replied that she hadn't been able to reach Ashley all day, Michelle started to feel uneasy. Michelle and Casey tried calling Ashley several more times and sent her multiple text messages, but there was no response. No one answered. A mother's intuition told Michelle that something was wrong with Ashley. Trusting her instincts, she called the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office to report what had happened. Initially, the police believed that Ashley had gone out with friends and simply lost track of time. However, after 8 hours had passed, they discovered the car that Reeves had taken when she left home. The vehicle was parked in Belleville, which was halfway to Fairview Heights. Inside the car, they found only Ashley's bag, which contained untouched athletic clothes and sneakers. This indicated that she never made it to the basketball court that day. As for the interview, she also didn't show up. Detectives decided to start with Ashley's boyfriend, Jeremy. They called him in for questioning, but he had spent the entire evening with his parents, making it unlikely that he was involved in her disappearance. Jeremy could only confirm what Ashley had told her family. He had lent her his car so she could go to the interview and then to basketball practice. It was only now that the detectives began to wonder, why did Ashley choose to go play basketball in Belleville, which was so far from home, when there were several open courts in Millstadt as well? While the detectives searched for Ashley, Michelle contacted the cell phone provider. Since Ashley was 17, her phone number was registered in her mother's name. This allowed Michelle to obtain a printout of her daughter's incoming and outgoing calls. Michelle reviewed the call logs and noticed that in the days leading up to her disappearance, Ashley had frequently called a number that was unfamiliar to her. When she dialed it, a man's voice answered. It would later be revealed that this man was none other than 26-year-old Samson Shelton. Michelle asked him if he knew where Ashley was, but Samson interrupted her before she could finish her question, abruptly saying, "No," and then hung up the phone. Fortunately, Ashley had kept her friends informed about her personal life, and what they told the detectives made Michelle feel ill. According to her friends, in addition to her relationship with Jeremy, Ashley had been seeing someone much older than herself. They often met at the Belleville basketball court to play, and then would find a private spot to be together. That person was Samson Shelton. Samson lived in Belleville with his mother and grandmother, and he worked as a physical education teacher at the local school. In addition to that, he gave private driving lessons and was a wrestling coach. It's no surprise that his nickname was the Teacher. Some of his female students hinted that it was not unusual for Samson to show them affection. Unfortunately, they never reported it. Detectives soon discovered that Samson had been Ashley's teacher in 2001 and 2002, and in 2006, he was giving her driving lessons. That was when their relationship began. Adding to the situation was the fact that he lived just a block away from where detectives found Jeremy's car. Meanwhile, nearly a day had passed since Ashley's disappearance. Overnight, temperatures dropped below freezing, meaning that if Reeves was outdoors, she could be in serious danger of hypothermia. The detectives headed to the school and unceremoniously took Samson in for questioning right during class. It quickly became apparent to them that the man was involved in Ashley's disappearance, even though Samson remained calm, friendly, polite, and even joked during the interrogation. As detectives continued to question Samson, they uncovered more inconsistencies in his statements. For instance, when asked about his relationship with Ashley, Shelton claimed they were friends who occasionally played basketball. He insisted their relationship was strictly platonic, but when he learned about Ashley's friends' testimonies, he suddenly changed his demeanor, attempting to portray himself as a victim. Samson told detectives that Ashley was head over heels in love with him, implying that she was an obsessed teenager. He suggested she would call him at any hour of the day or night and claimed he was trying to avoid her, hoping she would leave him alone. However, just a few hours later, he admitted not only to having slept with his former student, but also to having met with Ashley on April 27, the day of her disappearance. According to Samson, they had an argument that day because he wanted to end their relationship. Ashley became upset, started shouting at him, and threatened to tell everyone about their relationship. After this confrontation, he claimed he dropped her off on the side of the road and simply drove home. Samson insisted to the police that he cared for Ashley and considered himself a father figure to her. However, when questioned about why he dropped her off far from the city and drove home, he fell silent. It was only after 12 hours of continuous interrogation that Samson finally confessed to how he silenced Ashley forever in a park near Belleville. After his admission, he agreed to lead detectives to Ashley's body in Citizens Park in Belleville. However, when they arrived, it began to rain and darkness fell, making it difficult for Samson to pinpoint the exact location. Citizens Park covers an area of 18 hectares, making it challenging to find the girl. Armed with flashlights, detectives began searching the woods. After half an hour of searching and starting to doubt Shelton's words, they finally found Ashley, alive. Emergency medical technicians arrived at the scene and transported her to a local hospital. Nobody believed she would survive, but Ashley proved to be an incredibly strong individual and, with the help of medical staff, pulled through. It was nothing short of a miracle. Samson was arrested and charged with attempted murder. When taken into custody, he requested a separate bathroom, claiming he couldn't use the toilet in front of other inmates. His request was, of course, denied. In a surprising turn of events, Samson was released on bail and placed under house arrest while awaiting trial. Not long before the final hearing, Samson's mother called the police to report that her son had attempted to take his own life, allegedly mixing pills and alcohol. The medical team that arrived found Samson lying on the floor, pretending to have lost consciousness. Written in marker on his chest was the phrase, "Do not resuscitate." When paramedics attempted to revive him by gently slapping his cheeks, he suddenly jumped up and attacked them with his fists. Ultimately, he got his way. Shelton was taken to a psychiatric facility where his competency was evaluated. Samson's ploy failed, and he was found guilty and sentenced to 20 years in prison. He became eligible for parole in 2024 and was granted it on his first attempt, being released on April 24th. As for Ashley, she managed to recover from the traumatic events. Although she could not remember the details of the day Samson tried to take her life, she refused to let hatred and resentment ruin her life. Just a few months after the incident, she was already learning to speak, eat, and drink again. A year later, she graduated from high school and started working at a center for victims of violence. Today, Ashley is 35 years old, married, and has 2 children. And that concludes our coverage of this tragic story. If you found this video informative or thought-provoking, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates on cases like these. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Feel free to share this video with your friends and give it a thumbs up if you found it valuable. Thank you for watching.